Well, Kansas Republican Senator Jerry Moran will be among those lawmakers meeting with the president shortly. He joins me now. Senator, thank you for being here.
Jerry, my pleasure. Thank you.
So, Senator, your proposal with your Republican colleagues is, as we just heard from Kristen there, a third, really just about a third of the proposal of the president, the one that the Democrats support. What are you going to be telling the president this afternoon in an effort to maybe persuade him to come closer to your number?
Well, I'm going to do everything I can to encourage the president to do something that is much more targeted and much less expensive than the $1.9 trillion package that the White House has proposed. We've been able to do that in a bipartisan way. I'm a pretty darn conservative Republican, and to spend this amount of money, I want to make sure it's going toward the relief of Americans who are suffering as a consequence of COVID-19. And there's lots of things in this bill that are beyond that scope. And so we've been successful the last 4 phases of Republicans and Democrats working together to find a common ground. Not everyone gets what they want. The president talks about a speedy opportunity to provide relief for Americans, and I think we want that. And this is the fastest way to get it accomplished. Reconciliation or other procedural means not only destroys the bipartisanship that the president has promised, it reduces the time frame, it increases the time frame in which that we're able to accomplish what the American people need. My view is, Mr. President, let's focus on vaccines. I think it's the most important thing. More shots and more arms is the best thing that can happen for our country's well-being, both from a health perspective and from an economic point of view. But I also want to make sure we get kids back in a classroom, that small businesses get some assistance, and Americans who need the most help get help from this package. And we can do that in this effort together.
Senator, the biggest difference, I think, between your proposal and the president's is aid for states in particular. The Democrats are very keen on hundreds of billions of dollars in aid for states. You don't. You have a very, very small amount for that and a relatively small amount for education, that you mentioned too. Is there any room for movement there? Would you be prepared to go a little further towards what the Democrats want, or are you really dead set against that kind of assistance?
Well, what I would say is that I do not want Kansans or other Americans to pay for the mistakes, the fiscal irresponsibility of other states over a long period of time, unrelated to COVID. And so I'm willing to be helpful to local units of government, in particular, states to some degree, but I think we can do that by focusing the assistance, whatever assistance that might be, on the actual functions of government that have been harmed by COVID-19. Not just something that broadly helps states and local units of government, but something that helps their taxpayers get through the challenges, the expenses of responding to the health care needs and the economic circumstances of Kansans.
The president's come out of the block since Inauguration Day with a pretty aggressive, progressive agenda, signing a bunch of executive orders, presidential declarations on immigration, energy, on the environment, on some of these other things too. It doesn't sound like this administration is in much of a mood to compromise right now, despite his plea for unity. What will you say to him about that?
Well, I would indicate to the president that if we can't find common ground on this issue, COVID-19 response, it really sets the stage for the inability to find common ground on many other things. COVID-19 has brought Congress and presidents together on 4 phases of relief. It's been done in a bipartisan way. There is a sense of interest on the part of Republicans and Democrats in the Senate to get something done in this regard. This is the greatest opportunity we have to do that. And while I am opposed to a number of the president's executive orders, I'm certainly willing to work with him to get a more conservative, targeted response to COVID-19 and get it done quickly to benefit Americans.
Senator Moran, good luck there at the White House. We'll be back trying to find out what you found out. Thanks very much for joining us.
Thank you very much, Jerry.
Thank you.